and lightning flashed out of it. The creature sped back and forth like flashes of lightning. Whew. UFOs and aliens. That's what we're going to be talking about this week and next in our midweek moments. Yes, UFOs, and it's not just because of the SETI program. Yes, a government program, the search for extraterrestrial life. It's not just because of the Harvard's brand new, did you see this, the Galileo project, where they are having some of their best professors study whether there is intelligent life out there in the universe. Or the release of the just this enormous trove of data and videos and stuff from the government on UFOs. It's a fascinating thing, and it's even more fascinating when you think of what does the Bible and what does Christianity say about these things. Because some people think about it and they think, well, if there are UFOs out there, this must mean for sure we can't believe the Bible anymore. Well, we're going to talk about this week and next how that is just a ridiculously stupid argument. Yes, I said it. But we need to talk about it because the UFOs. Did you see some of the stuff that got released last month from the government? There were, Navy personnel, fighter jet pilots who have seen, we have video, we have audio of these UFOs that make no sense. Lights in the sky, of these objects flying around that don't conform with anything we understand or know in our realm of understanding. So what is going on there? And please, don't go down those YouTube or Reddit rabbit trails, okay? I know that you could spend the rest of your life looking at these things and crazy people talking about the things they've seen. Jason, have you ever seen a UFO?
Not a dang thing.
Yeah, me neither. But that doesn't mean they're not out there. In fact, the Bible doesn't exclude the possibility of UFOs, unidentified flying objects. In fact, as far as I can tell, there are actually probably five different things that it could actually be whenever there's a UFO someone reports. 5 different options, right? So the first one would be that the person is delusional. And that's maybe one of the first ones we see because most of the people who say they've seen UFOs are the kind of people that you'd say, I'd believe if someone told me, as long as they're not like you. But that person who lives in their mom's basement, who doesn't have a real job and is on Reddit all the time, you're like, I don't know if I believe you that you've seen a UFO. Okay, so the first thing is someone could be delusional. They could have psychosis or some issue, or maybe they drank too much, or they had something laced in their hashish. Whatever they're smoking, you're like, okay, there's definitely something going on and you're delusional about it. You didn't actually see it. But what about when there is the video evidence or multiple people who see the same thing? Well, there are still 4 different possibilities. So if they're 1, it could be delusional. 2, it could be extraterrestrial. This is where a lot of people jump nowadays. It's got to be aliens. It's got to be, whether it's the flying saucer or little green men or glowing lights like in X-Files or a mothership that's 400 miles across like in Independence Day. Okay, it could be something like that, but it could be extraterrestrial, intelligent life from another planet that's sending something here. Actually, that is a possibility, and a lot of people love that one and focus on that. We'll talk about aliens next week. So that's the second option, that it's extraterrestrial. Here's the third one. It's terrestrial. Yes, it's something on this planet that a human created, whether it's a weather balloon or the Soviets. Back in the Cold War, it was always the Soviets who were using these spy craft. It's possible that that's what was going on, or even something from our own government that we are, testing out new technology, or there's a drone, or maybe it's Amazon or Elon Musk. There's all these different possibilities. It could be terrestrial. That's the third option. The fourth option is it's something natural. Okay, it could be a weather pattern. It could be light coming off some weird, bizarre light thing, a meteorite hitting a cloud that creates this visual that looks different. So it could be something natural. But there's actually a fifth possibility that I think a lot of people write off when it comes to UFOs, and that actually the Bible kind of points towards, and it's the option of supernatural. Yes, the Bible talks a lot about supernatural things, including things that seem a lot like UFOs. Let me just read you this little section from the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 1, it says, I looked and I saw an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. The appearance of the living creatures was like burning coals of fire, and like torches, fire moved back and forth among the creatures. It was bright, and lightning flashed out of it. The creatures sped back and forth like flashes of lightning. Whew. So, That's a little crazy. It sounds like a UFO. Like, what is going on there that Ezekiel is seeing? But instead of putting Ezekiel in a padded room, we actually gave him one of the longest books in the entire Bible. Okay, so he's seeing things. But it's not just Ezekiel who sees things. It's in Exodus, there was a pillar of cloud by day that led God's people out of Egypt and into the promised land, and a pillar of fire at night. What is this flying object that people see? There's Elijah who went up into heaven on a chariot of fire, and it went up like a whirlwind. Or even Jesus himself, when he ascended into heaven, he disappeared behind the clouds. There's a lot of supernatural things that are flying around. Ephesians 2:2, it describes Satan as the prince of the power of the air. So Satan, who is a fallen angel, a demon, and all of his demons are the powers of the air, describing him literally as being in the air. And angels too are described in the air. In Isaiah's vision, in Isaiah chapter 6, he sees these angels and one particular type of angel. Yes, there are more than one type of angel, the seraphim, who have 6 wings, and they're floating above the throne room. There's all these different images in the Bible of angels, of demons, of supernatural things all around in the air. And don't even get me started on the book of Revelation. So the Bible has all sorts of flying objects that are supernatural. Not necessarily from a different planet, though, the Bible doesn't talk about that. The point is that the Bible is filled with even things that we might consider UFOs today. So are UFOs real? Well, the Bible seems to indicate that there are things that we don't quite understand. And if you're like me and Jason and you're like, but we've never seen it, Matt, you're talking like a crazy man. Maybe you are a few fries short of a Happy Meal. Okay, you can think that. But the point is that not everyone sees these things. Even in the Bible itself, there's this incredible story in 2 Kings chapter 6, where Elisha isn't afraid at all, even though a king is trying to kill him and he's surrounding his entire town with an army. And Elisha says to his servant, he says, let's pray. And he prays, and then all of a sudden his servant's eyes are open, and they see surrounding the enemy army is an army of the angels that are there and defending Elisha. So meaning there are supernatural things that not everyone sees with their eyes. So the Bible doesn't exclude the possibility of UFOs. So if you see one, or you watch something on YouTube, or you read an article, or you see something that freaks you out, don't be freaked out. Because there are UFOs, the Bible doesn't exclude the possibility of those things. And it could be any of those 5 options: delusional, extraterrestrial, terrestrial, natural, or supernatural. It could be any of those 5. But here's the thing I want to leave you with. Don't obsess about it. Don't obsess about it, because those things have always been there. They've always been around, and we're not supposed to obsess. What's interesting in the book of Revelation, John, who's having this incredible vision, all these things that are flying around, he actually falls down at one point to worship an angel, one of the flying objects. And the angel rebukes him. He's like, dude, don't worship me. I'm just an angel. God created me just like he created you. Worship God, worship Jesus, who did create everything. So don't obsess about UFOs. Don't spend the rest of your life on Reddit trying to track things down, driving to Wyoming so maybe you can catch a glimpse of something. Okay, don't do that. Don't obsess, because it could be any of those explanations, and you can still be a Christian and think those things. So that's it, what we're going to talk about today. If you found this interesting, make sure you subscribe, because next week we're going to talk about extraterrestrial life. Is it real, and does it debunk the entire Bible? Should we get rid of our faith? We're going to talk about that next week. So make sure you subscribe. Give me comments. If you've seen an alien or a UFO, I'd love to hear from you. Send me a comment, send me a DM, drop a comment in the comment section, and I will talk with you next week.